Okay, the front suspension for my club cab that I need to replace, mostly the cross member because of that Perkins engine thing. I'm going to replace a whole bunch of pieces because I'm going to have to take it all apart anyway. But this chunk of frame came out of a 74, and oddly enough, I've never seen this before, but everything on the driver's side is bolted in. Every one of them. And they look like they're factory bolts. I didn't notice any damage anywhere. Everything on the passenger side was riveted. I mean, everything. Every cross member was bolted on the driver's side. I don't remember seeing that anywhere else. Once the snow melts, I'll take a good look at the club cab and see. But that was weird. So, of course, obviously this side will be easy to unbolt. And then I'll have to grind all the rivets off. I've got another chunk like this out of a 90 where the drivetrain is coming from, but the motor mount area is a little bit different, and I think I'm just going to use this one because it's that much closer. I know it's going to be right, well, the other one will be right too, but it might just be easier to put in later. It'll look, I guess, more correct because it's really a lot closer to correct. And I think I'm going to use the springs out of the other one just because they don't have as many miles on. I don't want to use the springs out of what's in there because it had that Perkins, that 1,000 pounds worth of diesel sitting in there forever. And those bump stops were like a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch off of their max, just sitting static. So I don't think those springs overall are going to be in the greatest shape. And these, I don't know. This truck had 117,000 on, I think. So it had more, more miles on, and maybe that was worse miles, maybe not. I'll take all of it apart and I'll get a good look, get a good feel for which ones look the best. And maybe I'll just throw some new ones in. I've got a pair of new ones in a box too, so we'll see. But just a minor, quick little update. Want to get it all taken apart? Well, then I'll do some more assessing and kind of go from there. A little more random progress on this club cab I'm working on. Everything's off the frame that I'm going to keep right now. You can see some spindles, a control arm, the other one was bad. A couple springs, lower control arms, steering gear, which I'm not going to use, but I will sell because people want those manual gears for stuff, which is fine. Big pile of hardware, all my new rear brake components, most of them anyway. And then here is this guy. The heart of the matter, the engine support. I can't really call it a K member because it's not shaped like a K, but it's basically a K member. My original plan was I would take all the bolts and rivets out and then just kind of slide it down, hopefully slide it down the frame rails, because there's no way to take it out otherwise. Well, that works fine on one side. The passenger side over here, the frame rail, this inside, the part that goes in here, is perfectly flat. There's no problem. I could probably slide that all the way out. It's a pain in the ass, but it's doable. This side, however, will not, because right about here roughly is where the steering gear attaches, and there's various ripples and waves and bumps in the frame rail itself, so that holds on there and gives it a little strength. And there's just no way I could slide that through there because it's just physically impossible. And I'm looking at this trying to figure, how did they do this at the factory? Well, the only thing that I can come up with, and I have a feeling it's the way I'm going to have to put it in there, that this piece, and maybe even both sides, but at least for sure this side, this piece was not on there. They held this up, they riveted everything on, and then they put this on there, they riveted it, then they welded all through on the bottom side. And I'm thinking that's the only possible way I can get this thing in there, so I have a K member or an engine cradle cross member that doesn't look quite so hacked and chiseled for no good reason. The one that's in there right now, yeah, is fine if that engine was still in there, but the engine is not in there and it's gonna look dumb. So we're putting something in there that looks right, and I think that's the only way I can do it. If anybody has a better way to do this, to put one of these in there, let me know, but I can't see it happening any other possible way. So anyway, there's that. I've got a whole bunch of new control arms and such coming. They should be here today from Summit. And whenever I get a chance, if I'm sandblasting something, I'll grab a couple pieces, blast them, hit them with the POR 15 and put them together, then just set them aside until the snow melts and I start working on that one again. So, just a little quick, here it is. It's still happening, just really slow because of the winter.